Hello everybody, Dan Waters from Enstarla here. It's a beautiful sunny day here in New York City on a Saturday. Hope that you're all having a wonderful weekend and not working. Do not follow our example, but we are bringing you our use case 33 from our RPA Center of Excellence. It's a report card use case. So what do we mean by report card? So in this specific example, as you know, we like to keep things simple and to the point. We're going to be demonstrating a simple school report. So we've got a student, a fictitious student, and we're going to be grabbing some grades from a central store and populating a template. So why would we want to do that? Well, what the benefit here is that we have a simple template, and with that template, which is, I'll actually show you what it looks like here. We are taking this template, which has nothing specific about any individual. It's boilerplate as it gets. And we are going to do some light formatting here, and we're going to individualize this and create a letter specific to the data of the individual student, and we're going to email the student that letter. So why do we want to do this? A whole number of reasons. Number one, this may be a heavy manual task for a lot of people. So that would be very challenging to go and write hundreds or even thousands of these out for individual students. If you want to apply this to the workplace, maybe you want to be able to send ceremonial type letters, letters of achievement to people with their individual grades, or maybe you want to use it for stock keeping or inventory reconciliation purposes. Maybe you want to combine different data sets. For example, sales pipeline versus many other things. So there's a whole range of scenarios where you may want to do this. Again, it's a completely data-driven exercise. So with the data that we have in our central store, mind you, it could be decentralized stores, but we're using that information, whatever shape it comes, to drive this outcome. So we grab the data, high level, grab the data, then here we populate the student's name and we populate the grades, and off we go, over and done with, email the report out. You know, there's things we'll get into in our slide, but what I'll do, just now that you've seen the template, what it looks like, I'm going to close that. I'm going to open up now our slide and kind of just talk you through it a little bit more so you get the feel of, you know, really the flexibility and power of this capability. So the three key benefits we've listed: individual letters, cards do not need to be manually created. Okay, let me spend a little bit of time on this. You may have systems in place that already provide this type of capability, but maybe they only talk to the data that system knows about. Maybe you don't have the ability to reach out and grab other pieces of data without intricate API development, or maybe there's no avenue for technical development. Maybe it's too costly, maybe it's too difficult from a security challenge standpoint. There could be a whole host of reasons. Maybe you have a situation where a vendor has promised something and 12 months later the feature and functionality still doesn't exist, right? And so this is a problem. So this gets you around a lot of those you know, let's call them stone walls, okay? Accuracy, speed, and consistency, quick scaling, and flexible. So you could have something like this set up in your organization that essentially follows this paradigm of we're creating a letter, we're creating an artifact, we're creating a document. It's completely data-driven. And let's just say that we had one that took care of a certification program for compliance purposes. You want to reward your employees and say, great job. So you're putting some bells and whistles on that, sending an email with the, you know, very nicely presented artifact. Thank you, you're doing all the right things. And here's your certification stamp, i.e. the artifact. Okay. You may want to do many other things, right, on top of that, right? So maybe it's the inventory reconciliation we mentioned. It could be a whole host of different reasons. And you don't really need to do much to actually change what is your core first example of this to to be able to extend that into many other more finely tuned use cases, right? So there's the high level use case, but can be very quickly scaled and applied, okay? And what you may find is once something like this is actually in place, the floodgates can open, and it opens up a whole world of opportunities to kind of use this functionality for good. And you never know, something that's very expensive that you're already paying for, maybe it's the world, or on the other side, maybe it's the needle in a haystack access database that needs hundreds of hours of maintenance a year just to keep alive and hope that it works. So there's those things to consider. Design notes, entirely data driven, high degree of customization available based on data and requirements. I would just add there that although we're talking high degrees of customization, that doesn't necessarily apply to the thoughts of fallibility we might typically have when we're thinking of customization. It's customization, but with Lego blocks, and the Lego blocks are proven, and saves considerable storage space. So with the storage space comment, these documents, okay, you could argue they're not that small. You could argue they're not that large. However, let's just say that it's a couple of gig per week. Add that up over disk storage space, network consumption over the entire year. That might be something to consider, right? If you've got a WAN with some fairly narrow links across the WAN, this is something you may want to be thinking about too, right? So again, you can tune this to your specific needs. Let's go into the process architecture. There's not really much to talk about here, and that is by design. Identify student resource entity, populate the original template with the data details, send the email with a report card attachment. Now, add-ons, workflows, we alluded to that before. Reverse entry form. Some of you probably already understood what I mean by that. Reverse entry form is we could have a situation where our central database has disappeared into the next dimension, or we've got some kind of other data issue, or we're looking to do something from a redundancy perspective. Bottom line is we want to take the actual artifacts that we've had in the past, and we want to lift and shift information out of that into the central store. So we're doing the reverse of what we're actually doing here, which is taking that data and populating an artifact. We can take that artifact and do the reverse and populate it backwards, right? So there's avenues for that as well. On that same thought, recovery, data loss, compliance, analytics, and of course QA. All these things can coexist and support and enhance what we're doing here. Something that might be nice to consider is, for example, here, and we've not done this on this occasion, you could take your top 5% of students and say, right, well, we really want to let these folks know that they're doing great things. So you want to maybe write some of the font in gold. Maybe you want to include a certain image, right? Maybe you want to just give the document a certain look and feel that really kind of says, okay, you kind of get the Principals Award here for being a star pupil, star performer, whatever you want to call it. On the contrary, if you have students that are a little bit more at risk, or individuals that you want to indicate some kind of risk, you could include some kind of custom risk trend data point or graph or image that kind of shows, hey, look, this is where you are. We see signs of encouragement, and these are things that you can do better. Now, I don't know if things have changed too much since when I was at school, probably have, but I remember seeing a lot of paper-based report cards, and I've got friends and family who is still getting paper-based report cards, so probably good excuse for a lot of schools to kind of get up with a better way to do things, save your teachers some time. Okay. So without further ado, let's move this along. We've got our template, and we've also got ready our RPA Gmail account. So we're sitting that there, we're going to drag that. Now we're going to play from our IDE. I actually forgot to turn something on here on the side, so let me just do that. Okay, now we should be good. So we're going to go down here, populated date. We've got the list of students. In this case, we're just limiting to one student. So we're going to populate the student's name, which is going to be Jacob, my 1-year-old son, who's making his first appearance. We're building our table and we're populating the grades all from the database. And now we're going to save it as a Word document and then as a PDF, just to show that we've got that functionality, and we're going to be emailing over the PDF. Okay, and we're done. So let's have a look. Here we have our email here from Juno the Samoyed, one of my dogs. I have 2 dogs, and there we go. Commend you for a job, well done. We need more folks like you. There's our student card, and to show you where that lives on disk, here we go. And on this occasion, the PDF's actually a little bit higher storage, but generally PDF is going to, especially for more illustrious artifacts, it's going to be should be a lower file size. So there we are. We've completed our use case here. Again, you know, it's something that is really limited as far as this report card scenario to you know, to where your creativity is your creativity stops, right? So it could be schools, it could be in the enterprise, compliance, stock keeping, reconciliation, so on and so forth. So have a think about it, reach out to us if you have any questions, and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.